a survivor of domestic violence. It does feel nice when they clap. Oh, good. Okay, that was great. Thank you. I'm here today to hopefully answer some questions and share my story. The abuse for me began 2 weeks after I gave birth to my first daughter, and I was 15. I had just turned 15. So I was a teenage mom who was in love with this guy because he made me laugh and made me smile, and he really paid attention to me. And as a middle child, nobody was paying attention to me. So that part felt really, really good, to have somebody like so focused, like you were saying, because I didn't understand that was scary. It felt good. And so when my daughter was born, something happened in him. I don't really know what, but he began to get really violent. The first episode, my 2-week-old daughter was laying on my chest. He picked up a baby swing. Y'all seen a baby swings, right? Threw it toward me across the room. And my 2-week-old daughter laying on my chest. And so that was like a very big eye-opener that this is not normal. And what happens in the domestic violence cycle, it's a cycle. It is very systematic, very probable, very predictable. And I didn't know what the cycle was, so I didn't know like when was a good time to kind of like break the cycle or how to break the cycle. I didn't know any of that. And so I stayed because what I did know was that I love this man, and I care for him, and I believe in him, and I believe he's gonna change. And when he's looking at me like that, with that look, and he's telling me he's sorry, and he's crying, and I know men don't cry, so I know he's sensitive. So I stay, and I believe, and I look at my daughter, and I know she loves her dad, and I see her smile, and he's not hurting her, or so I think. And so when the violence started getting very frequent, it got more and more frequent. I remember one time I'm holding my now 18-month-old daughter on my hip, and somehow we were in an argument, God knows why, and he's like, why don't you just kill me? Why don't you just kill me? And he gets a knife in his hand, and I'm holding my daughter, and he's standing in front of me, holding the handle of the knife like this with the blade pointing toward him. You with me? And he's grabbing me with the other hand, like trying, while I'm holding my daughter, trying to make me, press into him with my body and stab him. My daughter is screaming hysterically. I'm frantic because I'm like, this man he's psycho. Like, this is psycho. And so I call the police. And once that was over, I snuck out and I called the police, and he gets locked up, charged with terroristic threat, false imprisonment, and then he comes back home. He gets out and he comes back home. And I would love to tell you that he came back home a changed man, but he came back home an angrier man. So I learned right then, note to self, you will pay for calling for help. You gotta figure this out on your own, Pookie. And guess what? I didn't have the tools to figure it out on my own. I would go to church week after week and hear about how the sinner could be saved, and I would hear how, people could be healed of cancer and diabetes, and I would hear how you're not supposed to fornicate, commit adultery, and I would hear all of these things from the pulpit, but I never heard, you are not supposed to get beat. That is not God's will for your life. I heard, be submissive and be a good wife. And so I stayed, which, by the way, FYI, religious beliefs are the number one reason given. Why did you stay? So let me just say, you will not go to hell if you leave the hell that you're in. There's no eternal hell waiting on you if you get divorced. But there is help and hope and love, and absolutely the God of all creation desires for you to be safe and healthy and happy. So I stayed in that. I got with him when I was 14 and I left when I was 26. And so I'm 34 now. My daughter is a GPC student over at the Newton campus, and my other daughter is 14 at Edwards Middle School. And really, both my kids are great, involved. We did move into a shelter. Fast forward to how I got out. I escaped, called a taxi, packed a little bag of clothes, left. Didn't know where I was going. I really had no clue. I just know I wasn't gonna stay there. And I ended up being able to meet up with a friend, and she put me in a hotel room. And then I reached out and found a shelter. And so anybody that has ever considered volunteering time or resources or donations to domestic violence shelters, I am the poster girl for the domestic violence shelters. I went to a place called the Sanctuary House in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and they have programs there. They threw my daughter a birthday party while I was there because I had nothing but a few clothes. No car, no phone, no nothing. And so those places are very valuable, very important, and it is a big factor in helping a woman to effectively escape. Because what you'll find, this video was tragic, but even women that go back, you wear your family out. Like, you keep leaving and keep going back the average, 8 to 10 times. So you leave and come back, leave and come back. People love you, but they don't understand you. And so the families are getting frustrated. We want to help you, we really do, but we can't figure out why the hell you keep going back. Why do you do that? You know what I'm saying? This is stressing us. You're affected. The family members who want to help are affected because we got to wonder if, Joe Blow's going to come running around the corner after us because we're helping you. So it does affect everybody. But what I hope that these events, and thank God for these events, what I hope that they'll do is realize, help us all realize that there is something you can do. I don't care who you are, where you're at, there's something. And if it's nothing but giving somebody, a phone so that they can dial the number to a shelter, if there is something absolutely that you can do. And I do want to say thank you for coming here. As somebody who's lived through this, a lot of people don't want to talk about it. It's like, I don't want to hear domestic violence. I've lived through it. I paid my dues. I survived. But as a survivor, I feel so honored that I got out. I feel so thankful. And it's my burning passion to talk about this. It is so important, you know what I mean? It is really an important topic, and yes, it might not be the most fun topic, but neither is looking somebody in the face and being like, oh, okay, she just got killed because we didn't know any of the warning signs. Even though we worked with her from 9 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday, we were clueless. Nobody wants to be that coworker that your coworker got killed, you know what I mean? And there was something you could have done, even if it was just, how can I help you? How can I help you? So that's just a little brief background. I do life coaching now. I'm a mentor and I'm an inspirational speaker. And this is my area of, expertise, so to speak, that I do speak about. So thank you guys for coming.